Hey everyone, my name is Vashral and welcome back to the channel. January was a massive month for me. I finally cleared a significant part of my gaming backlog. Today I'm going to walk through the games I completed this month, so there's no uncompleted or beaten games. I really focus on trying to complete as many games as possible, so I'll be sharing my thoughts on the plot, the visuals, the gameplay, and everything about the game. Whether you're a hardcore completionist or you're just curious about how to tackle your backlog, stick around for a deep dive into my January gaming journey. So let's get into the intro. First up, I completed Rusty's retirement. I did talk about that I will be focusing on leaving every single idol behind, but this was a particular game that I didn't manage to complete in December, so I had a couple of achievements left back in January. So I did manage to complete it, and if you're not familiar with Rusty's retirement, this is an idol farming game where basically you let it sit down on your bar and you manage a quirky visual farm and you look after the farm, and basically you let Rusty help out with automation. It is quite an interesting game and I really enjoyed it, but of course, as any other idle game, there's not much to do when it comes to complexity. The achievements are more based on taking your time, building up things, and following a couple of things that you were required to achieve 100% completion. It wasn't a difficult game to complete whatsoever. You do have to go through a couple of worlds that you unlock progressively as you get more and more of the land from the sides, left and right. And it took me a while to figure out that actually what happens is that you will reset and start a new world, which I kind of didn't like the idea. I thought that my whole progress will carry over and I will be continuing to do the things that I enjoyed in the first world. And that wasn't the case. You do need to reset and you do need to go throughout the other biomes and try to get 100% completion. Some of the biomes are much more favorable for particular achievements, other not so much. Overall, I do think that Rusty's Retirement is a great idle game if you enjoy this kind of genre, and I highly recommend it to anybody who is into farming and cozy and just wants to leave something in the background to work on things. So yeah, that was my experience with the game. A very short game that I played at the beginning of January was Samorost 2. Yes, this is the sequel of Samorost 1, and it is a little bit longer than its prequel. This time around, the game tries to tell a little bit of a story where basically Samorost, or I think that's his name, he loses his dog to some aliens that it's taking him away, and you're trying to recover him. It's very simple in nature, and as other games from this developer, you're tasked to figure out and find out puzzles in order to save your dog. It's not too complicated as the previous one, and if you're familiar with this kind of genre, these point and click games, you're more likely to figure out very quickly how to get through this. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was slightly much more better than the previous one, but not the greatest point and click adventure I've played to date. Moving on, I'm gonna talk about the next game that I completed, which is Biped. Biped is a cooperative puzzle platformer that really tests your teamwork. In Biped, you and a friend navigate challenging levels with unique movement mechanics, and the art style is minimalistic yet quite stylish and appealing. The puzzles feel fresh and challenging and really test your mobility, and in many cases is quite clever, and cooperation is the key in this game. Playing this with a friend was an extremely hilarious time. So once again, I know that I did shout out Assistbot in previous video. I will continue to shout him out throughout the video because he helped me out through quite a lot of other co-op games which you will be hearing me talking throughout this video. So I don't want to go into too many details about Biped, as I think you really need to get into and explore, but it's a great puzzle game, great co-op game that I honestly recommend it to anybody. It was very interesting to go through. It does have a single player campaign if you want to do that, but that's not really the whole point of the whole game, and honestly the creme de la creme of this game is the cooperative part. part, and I highly recommend playing it with your partner, with a friend, maybe with your child. It's a great game, welcoming any kind of age or background. Moving on, I tried something a little bit different. My wife suggested that she wanted to see something that would place a little bit of horror, so I choose something that is a lot more shorter so that she can spend time and watch while she was fiddling on her phone. So she really enjoys to see me playing some horror games. She likes to see those emotions sparking and getting scared, feeling nervous. Although I'm not a huge fan of horror games, she really enjoys to see me playing those. And I tried out Stories Untold, which was a game that focuses on telling diverse puzzle stories that have a different kind of twist, and they are fairly interesting in a way. In some areas, the puzzles do feel very, very confusing because the game is expecting you that you are going to follow the instructions by looking through your guides and trying to figure out how to solve the puzzle, and you work with different kinds of tools that I never seen before. So it was kind of complex, but nonetheless quite interesting. Now, it wasn't the most scary stuff or horror stuff. It was kind of like an interesting, very unique, well told story, but overall I felt like it wasn't resonating as much with me. Do I recommend this game? Probably not. It wasn't the best game series, it wasn't the best stories to say the least, but definitely if you're into something different, maybe then you should try this one out. It's very short, very easy to complete. You just have to follow the guides if you really want to not miss anything like that, like missable achievements, but other than that, it's fairly simple and straightforward. Moving forward to one of the best games that I played this year, and that is It Takes Two. This game I played with my wife a couple of months back, but she didn't fully enjoy it due to its cartoonish nature, and she wanted to play something more serious that is more co-op. So I left this game behind and I said to myself, maybe I'll play it with somebody else, and that somebody else was Assistbot. So once again, big shout out to this guy. He really helped me out. He's a member of our Discord community, very helpful, very friendly, and I can't recommend him enough. So hopefully he doesn't mind me giving him a lot of advertisement, but he definitely enjoys to play co-op. He has a lot of patience with this one, not to mention the Biped can really test your patience, and we had a ton of fun. So It Takes Two is more of a cooperative adventure compared to the whole puzzle games. You definitely will have a lot of puzzles, but the story here is very gripping, very touching, and it has a lot of weight and background that really can captivate you as you go through it. At first, I was not fully invested like my wife was, but as you progress and you start caring about the characters, you start to really appreciate the story, the character, the developments, the side characters, everything. Not to mention that this game is a labor of love. You can definitely tell why this game won the Game of the Year back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and it is because it's so well crafted, so well designed in all levels. It's so much to see. It's overwhelming you with a lot of things that it's oftentimes you will find yourself missing out on missable achievements, and you have to go back and do them again because simply the game is offering you so much visuals and so much beauty that you can appreciate that I can't really express in words. I'm honestly thinking that this game is definitely contender for my Game of the Year. Even in case I will play other games that are just as good as this one, definitely this one is, you know, destroying all my records of all the games that I played. It's one of the best co-op games and multiplayer games that I can recommend to any single person that is looking to play with somebody. Unfortunately, you cannot play this one solo. You have the split screen that was a little bit of a hit or a miss, as sometimes the game is so beautiful you can miss out on things just because you're not able to focus on your side of the screen and stuff like that, and a lot of things are happening. But I do understand that the split screen has a purpose to help you track where your partner is and coordinate yourself in such a way. So great game, I highly recommend this one, and that's all I'm gonna say. Moving forward, let's talk about the next game, and that is Iron Lung. This game throws you into a claustrophobic, intense environment where you basically play as an inmate in a submarine trying to scuba dive and find out, well, not really scuba dive, but go with the submarine, control it, and find key elements in this bloody moon. And I don't mean by bloody as a word, in actually it is a moon that has blood as as water. So what's really interesting about this one is the fact that you will go through some really creepy moments that I was expecting, because I seen this game actually being played by Jacksepticeye a while back, and I thought it was quite interesting, and I told myself that I'll still want to play it so I can experience it fully. And it's truly intensive, really claustrophobic, and quite creepy. There are some scripted moments in the game that you cannot really miss, and unfortunately, to get the 100% achievement, you need to be able to be careful how you maneuver your ship in such a way that you collect those nodes that you need to go through, and not get the 8th node and basically go to the 9th node so you can get the achievement and complete the game in one run. I had to do a second run in order for me to get what I wanted to, but that is the only problem when it comes to hunting for achievements and not reading the guides. Other than that, it's very simple to do. Pretty much if you're checking your guides, you'll find out everything else. I do recommend the game if you're really gonna go for a creepy factor. It's very short and very easy to complete. Next, I wanted to talk about a game that honestly I thought that it was really overhyped, and that game is Journey. I did talk about it back in December, about this game that I wanted to play, and lo and behold, 2 days later, as I was finishing the video, one of our members, Adi, a big shout out to him as well, suggested that let's play Journey together, because some achievements do require that you need to play them in a cooperative way. So I decided that sure, that was a great idea, since I was in the mood of playing a lot of cooperative games. I was playing with Sysbot, so I decided like, why not? Let's play Journey, because it's also on my list and I really want to complete it. Now, this game, granted, it's a beautiful, gorgeous game. It definitely is something to really gaze upon. If you have a 4K monitor or ultra wide, you're definitely gonna enjoy this game. That's pretty much all that is for this game. It is gorgeous, it is very calming and peaceful, but the whole climactic build to get to the mountain really fell off the moment you got there. The loop itself feels boring, it doesn't have anything that is spectacular or memorable, it doesn't tell anything that will be like revealing to you that you expected to. You're basically hoping that the story is gonna have a climactic moment at the end, but there's absolutely nothing. You just go through the mountain, you go through a light, and that's it. And I'm sorry if I spoiled the game for you, but I believe at this point you probably heard about Journey for quite some time. It's an old game by now. The whole point of it is going back again and doing it again and again and again, and some of the achievements we had to do them several times, and believe me when I tell you, they get boring, and the last part of the game is fairly short. So I have a fair bit of complaint about this game, because a lot of people were like, Journey is the best game ever. No, I think it's overhyped. I think it's fairly decent, to say the least, maybe a 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 if you want to put it like that. But other than that, there's nothing else. If you really want to play a better game, I highly recommend Sky Children of Light, which is made by the same developers. It's a multiplayer game, but it's much more better, visually appealing. The ending is much better, it makes sense if you're going through the whole loop, and I also play that game. But other than that, the game itself, as I said, is not horrible or anything, but it doesn't have that spectacular thing that a lot of people were saying, that the story is gripping, that there's something about this game that really is special, the connections that you make with other players and stuff like that. Maybe when the game came out back in Xbox 360, that was something different, because you wouldn't have that online interactions. But in today's age, with so many ways of connecting with people and so many multiplayer games, I really don't feel like this game really resonates with me particularly, and it sure didn't with Adi as well. So we were both completely disappointed. We were talking throughout the whole ending and we were like, yep, that was it. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this one. It's probably the only game I wanted to ramble about, and to really give a fair warning, if you're looking forward to play this game, lower your expectations. And that's all I want to say. Moving forward, I will talk about a little bit briefly about Archons. I played this one. It's a roguelike bullet hell game where you control 2 characters. I talked about it in December, and I pretty much wrapped it up by playing on the hardest difficulty, and I really thought that the difficulty was overwhelming and difficult, but not really. It is a lot more challenging than the normal difficulty, as the creatures that are getting to you, they're attacking you a lot quicker, so you have a fraction of a second to react to this. But overall, the game itself is not overly complicated. The achievements are doable as long as you keep on going, because this is a roguelite. It's basically RNG, and a lot of the times skill based. If you're able to go go about and move. It can be quite confusing, especially if you're controlling the two characters, but other than that, I can only say a lot of praises for this game. I really enjoyed it. The art style was interesting, but most importantly, the music really hit for me because it is so rhythmic with the attacks, and it creates a nice beat that I haven't seen in any other game. Maybe there are rhythm games that do this one, but this one particularly is not a rhythm game, and it's just such a satisfying game to play. So I highly recommend this one if you really love bullet hell games. So that being said, let's move on to the next one, which is A Way Out. So after I played It Takes Two with Assistbot, I decided that I will play something that I played in the past, and that is A Way Out. I played A Way Out a few years ago when I got my PS4 with my wife, and we played it together through the whole campaign, and I really liked it. We both liked it. It was a much more serious story, the same split screen idea, and you play with two convicts that are trying to escape a prison, and the story goes on and you find out more about these characters. I don't want to spoil everything. I really think this game is quite a good one. You can definitely see the roots where the company, the developers, started to make this kind of games, cooperative games, and you can definitely tell that they had a grip on this one. It's much less complicated when it comes to everything being bombastic as being more realistic, but still a very well experienced, and we both enjoyed it. The characters were fun. It was nice that you had a decision to make between who you want to go. If you want to go either with Vincent or with Leo, and we went with Leo as we thought that Leo was a much more funny character and his decisions were a little bit much more on the evil side, let's put it like that, as we played before with Vincent, and Vincent is more like the good guy. So that being said, I'm not gonna spoil anything because the story is really interesting and it has a very nice ending. So I highly recommend if you're looking to play more cooperative games. Now, I don't know what was with us this January, but we played a lot of multiplayer games, and I appreciate it because I got to wrap up some games and complete them. And it was very easy to complete. You just had to go through the story and just get a couple of things here and there that we didn't actually miss because we were following guides. That being said, let's talk about the next game, and that is Simulacra. And this is a really interesting game that focuses more on telling a story through this text messages, and they are very creepy and mysterious. You could say that is horror. I had a couple of moments that I got a little bit maybe shocked, to say the least, but overall it tells a story about a missing girl. You get her phone and you're trying to puzzle and find out where is she. So you're connecting with her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend and with other people that she was chatting online, and you're trying to figure out where she is. Now, the story itself is quite interesting. I really enjoyed it. It has a very interesting ending, and honestly it took me by surprise. I wanted to play this one for quite some time now, as I normally don't play this kind of genre, visual novels or anything like that, and it was quite a decent experience, and I'm looking forward to try the second one and see what is up with that one. So I definitely recommend this one for what it was. I played something similar called Over the Phone, which I expected that it's gonna be like Simulacra, and it was a complete mess. It was a very undercooked game that didn't have much of essence, and I think I finished it in a half an hour. But this one can take up to 8 hours if you want to go for the route of completion, and a lot shorter, maybe 3 to 4 hours if you want to just beat the story. That being said, let's talk about another game that I kind of like partially idled, but in the same time I kind of use as a tool, and that is Spirit City LoFi Sessions. And this is partially a game and partially a program where basically you can use to create your character however you like, and then put it in different sides of the room and create a cozy atmosphere. You can play music, you can do a couple of things for atmosphere, and it will play in the background while you read a book, while you play other games, while you maybe do other kind of chores in the house. It really has a nice vibe to it. Now, one thing that I have a problem with this game is the fact that completion can be a little bit grindy, meaning that you need to leave your game open for countless hours in order to get the leveling up achievements. You have up to level 50 that you have to get to, and it takes a good 250 hours to get there, and that is my only problem. The other things that you have to do in there is just to do particular things and leave your characters to read or play video games or be on the desk or be next to the fireplace and stuff like that. Will unlock a couple of other pets that will be next to you that don't serve any other purpose but being visually aesthetic. It's a nice game for what it has, but it's not really something that I would say like, yeah, this is the best idle idle game that I played. Not by any stretch of the imagination, but it was quite interesting, and anybody who loves lo-fi music will definitely appreciate this one. Or if you prefer to do maybe something else, maybe have it for a music player, you can add your own music from YouTube and choose whatever music you want to listen to, and it will play in the background. You definitely don't need it if you have a Spotify or anything like that, but it adds other elements. You can put rain sounds, you can put fire sounds and stuff like that. It's very cozy, very relaxing, and ASMR. So I enjoyed it for what it was, but I'm a bit torn on the whole completion side. You definitely don't want to have this one running for a long sessions if you're trying to chase those trophies. And finally, let's talk about the last game that I completed, and that is The Deed. This is a murder mystery where you're put in the role of the killer. You basically play as the brother who wants to kill his sister because he finds out that his father is trying to remove him from the wheel of the house, and he wants to take revenge on his family. Now, at the first glance, it will sound like, why are you playing with as this evil character? And then you finally understand that this family that he is in is completely twisted. Her sister is completely nuts, and your father is as well an abusive person. Your mother doesn't seem to care about you. So everything seems to tie up with the story why you are this psychopathic person trying to kill and blame somebody else or get away with the murder. So the whole thing is on all the achievements, because you can finish the game pretty easily by just killing your sister in a particular way. The whole goal of the achievement hunting here is to go through all the possible endings, how you can choose a different murder weapon and incriminate other characters and pretty much get, you know, different kinds of endings, which was quite interesting nevertheless, but quite repetitive, if I may say so. I think that the game can be a little bit stretched out if you're really not following a guide, and you might not know exactly what you need to do. So I highly recommend if you check a guide for this one if you really want to complete it much faster than maybe 2 to 3 hours. Other than that, that's all I played. So that was my wrap up for January 2025 of Backlog. Let me know, what do you think about the games that I played? Obviously, I wanted to go off script today. It just felt like it. No script, no nothing. Just want to try this one because I felt like I could cover up a lot more things when I'm talking about it, as scripting can take a little bit of time, and I just decided that I thought that it was the right thing. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the games? Have you ever played any of these games? And what have you played this January? I'm really curious to know. And as always, if you enjoy the content and you want to support me, you can do that by liking and subscribing to the channel and turning that bell notification so that you'll be notified when I post something new. It's either gonna be a video where I talk about my backlog journey or about completions or about other things like guides for backlogs. So if you're interested in that, stick around because I'll be talking more about that. As well, I'll be talking about recommendations and many other things regarding Steam and updates and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I will unpack, but I don't want to bore you with that. Also, if you want to support my channel, there's many ways. One of them is to be a humble supporter by simply going into the description of this video. I am a Humble Bundle partner. So basically, if you're buying anything using the link in the description, you help support this channel and you pay absolutely nothing extra on top of that. Not to mention that you can also choose to support a charity of your choice, or you can choose to support the developers or the publishers for that particular bundle. So it's a win-win for everybody. I love Humble Bundle, and if you do as well, you can do it by checking the link in the description down below. That's all I wanted to talk with you today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Vashral, and as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.
Just one thing left to send. Stay safe, have fun, and happy gaming. Stay safe, have fun.